Welcome to Finance Revealed. Watch the complete video to discover new market secrets. Subscribe now.
The dirty secret is most of these guys held it in their own PA accounts because they can see it, right? They just weren't able to put it in their funds.
What do you think when you hear this kind of sentiment being pushed around that this time is different because we do have this big money coming in, there won't be some dramatic bear market and stuff?
I think gigantically different. Firstly, look at the acceleration of this post-halving versus the previous one. It's faster, which none of us expected, right? We were all expecting the slope to be less. So far, not true. It's early days. So that's interesting to me. Also, the structure of the market before was retail investors. Now, here we've got institutions. Some of them will buy and hold, but as you bring in hedge funds, you'll start bringing in new supply into the market because they trade it more, and they'll trade it in big size. They'll be selling some, buying it back, selling some, getting short. That's a different structure than we're used to. What that actually does is lower the volatility of Bitcoin over time. So the texture and feel of Bitcoin will be different. Over time, the next cycle, the returns will be significantly lower in terms of percentage returns. This one, I have a hunch that this will be bigger than anybody imagines. Everyone's like, well, plan B, he's got 250,000 or 280,000. Others have got various levels between 50 and 150. But if I just take the log chart, put regression lines on it, if it gets to 2 standard deviations overbought, which is roughly where it got to the last 2 peaks, that's $1 million. Is that doable? Big. I don't know, but what I do know is when you're forcing an elephant into the bathtub, things are going to change, right? And that's what we're doing here. We've got no supply. We've got this kind of industrial vacuum cleaner of Bitcoin coming in, which is the institutional space. But it will structurally change it. We will see weird things like quarter-end markups or markdowns. We will see rebalancing. We will see all of these things that we've not seen before because it's not been a feature of the retail investor. So the structure of the market is changing, but I have a feeling that this is going to be a little more shocking than people imagine.
Wow, that's a big call, $1 million Bitcoin. And, it's obviously a number we've thrown around on the channel before. And it's crazy to actually think about it because I feel like a lot of investors, they struggle seeing this big picture kind of playing out, where if you go back a few years when Bitcoin was $1,000, nobody could have imagined it going to $20,000. But now here we are at, $20,000+, whatever it happens to be at right now. The idea that we could see Bitcoin going to this crazy valuation, that's almost twice the market cap of gold if we get to $1 million.
Well, where's gold at that point? Gold has probably gone up significantly too. And again, the $1 million thing, that regression line, just means there is a probability. It's not really my forecast. I'm more comfortable saying, another 10x from here, 250,000, that kind of makes sense. All I'm saying is the probability to me is not an undershooting, it's actually an overshooting.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Now, you've got this incredible window into the world of these big money investors, right? You're on a first name basis with some, really incredible big money investors. So what are these guys saying behind closed doors about Bitcoin? I know we've had some big announcements this year from Paul Tudor Jones and stuff, but what are they kind of saying, behind closed doors? What are they kind of thinking about Bitcoin right now?
Well, the dirty secret is most of these guys held it in their own PA accounts because they can see it, right? They just weren't able to put it in their funds. The structure wasn't there. The futures, that helps. But some of them want to physically store it. They want a custody. They want it in their prime broking accounts, and it doesn't yet fit in. But that's changing. So they are all working on it. I'm also hearing incredible stories of these massive hedge fund platforms trying to buy every single independent crypto hedge fund to add it to their platform. That's new news. That is big that I'm picking up from everybody. Is that you saw the announcement from Alan Howard, who's a friend of mine and one of the most famous hedge fund managers in the world. He's just invested in that platform. He's been in Bitcoin for a long time, and that's not the only announcement. So we're going to see this everywhere, and my guess is we'll see it from Millennium, we'll see it from Balyasny and all of these big hedge fund platforms that they're going into the space. Again, that will mean most of these funds are small. They're like $20 million funds. And suddenly they're going to be $200 million funds. And then their impact, it's the structure of the market is going to change with all this, but it's very exciting.
Bitcoin XRP, Bitcoin wallet, Bitcoin owner, Bitcoin history, Bitcoin news today, Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin ATM, Bitcoin app, Bitcoin cash, Bitcoin forecast, Bitcoin latest news.